All right, so we got a file in Photoshop. Make sure you always save it, File, Save, or Control S on your keyboard. But this file is a Photoshop file, and it cannot be seen outside of Photoshop unless your computer has it installed. So we want to be able to see this everywhere we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to export this as an image, just like we did in Illustrator. So I'm going to go to File, I'm going to choose Export, and you can see that there are actually two options at the top here. One is Export, Quick Export as a PNG, which will just quickly export it for you with very little setting options. And then there's Export As. If you're wanting to pick a different kind of image, you're going to need to choose Export As. Image types are going to become important in the future. We haven't really talked about them much for JPEG versus PNGs and GIFs, but they will become a big issue. Not issue, but a big option when we begin to create lots of different images for different reasons. So I'm going to choose Export As to show you the full export screen. When you choose Export As, it will open up a dialog box that looks like this. And it will take a really long time to load, apparently. All right, so in here you can see that you can choose what it's going to do, what image it's going to be exporting, what format over here on the right it's going to be exporting at, whether it's a PNG, JPEG, GIF, or SVG. I'm going to go ahead and choose a JPEG at this time because it doesn't have a transparent background, it has a black background, and so I don't need a PNG in this case. I can use a JPEG because it does have a background. You can see the height and width and pixels, the scale of it, all those kinds of things. You can choose your color mode, color space, all that kind of stuff. But then we can go ahead and hit Export right here, and it will ask you where you want to save it. So I'm going to save it into my Photoshop, and I'm going to go ahead and hit Hamburger Layers Finished. I would ask that you also put your last name at the beginning of it. So I'm going to put Silvius. And if you could actually go and edit this file to make your last name at the beginning of it, that would be great too, but don't feel like you have to. So I'm going to hit Save. And at that point, it'll save as a picture. So if I actually go to my files here, so I'm going to go ahead and go to my files on my other screen real quick. So I'm in my File Explorer window, Digital Design 1, Photoshop. You can see I now have a JPEG file and a Photoshop file that are both separate. Remember, you need to select both of these and drop these into your Google Drive folder. So drag and drop into your Google Drive folder and upload the link to your Google Drive. The reason I ask you to upload the link is because sometimes you can't upload the full file because it's too big to Microsoft Teams, but also because then I can see all your work at once and it's easy peasy to be able to get through everything. So don't forget to go ahead and upload both of those to your Google Drive.